we're down to just 2 players with a bomb down.
Falsey finding 3, 4. Will we see the ace from Falsey this round?
Fire in the hole!
Welcome to Showstopper, the Gaming Club's Collegiate Round podcast. I am your host, Gamer Monkow, and today I am joined by my trusty co-host, Philip Tran. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing great, Gabe. And it sounds like you're an airplane pilot, huh?
Yes. About 5 minutes before we went live, something just broke and my actual mic is now causing massive interference. So, airplane pilot for today. And that's okay because we have quite the flight for you, where we are joined not only by my trusty co-host, but also by special guest, Mr. Joe Marino, otherwise known as Zingbet, previous, in another life, competitive coordinator on the BU Gaming Club's e-board for 2 years, I believe, and currently the captain of the League of Legends team?
Coach, captain.
Okay.
A little of both. We'll call it a little of both.
Okay, well, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here and talk about Valorant. Definitely, Valorant's like the first like competitive shooter I've really followed, because I followed a lot of esports in my life. I've followed Smash completely. I followed League of Legends since like season 4, and I always tried to dip my toes in CS, but I really never found like a love for it, to be honest. But Valorant was completely different for me. I don't know. I like it. I love it comparatively. So
That's great.
dipping my toes in
I
love
mean,
it.
you kind of had to branch out. There's not much left to follow in Smash, as far as I know.
Yeah, Smash is dead for now. I will admit.
Yeah, it's looking a little rough. Though, Valorant, the rising esport, is not. Definitely a lot to talk about, and I think we have a patch note, like we have been lucky enough to have every other time we've done this show so far. So, Philip, do you want to lead us into that, the 2.05 patch notes? Not nearly as substantial as our previous, but
No,
we'll talk about it.
but the Riot Gods have blessed us with another patch, as they do, seemingly bi-weekly, from a coincidence. And honestly, not that much has really changed in this patch. The only major changes are the unique keybinds, apparently for flying up and down when you're in the Owl Drone or in Astra's astral form. You can toggle your ranked act, apparently, so that people can see it or not see it.
That's something.
You can filter the match history by the mode. That's cool. If you dodge a competitive game, you actually get a small rank rating penalty. Riot claims that they've improved AFK detection, and chat ban players aren't able to queue in competitive games. Honestly, other than that, just tons of bug fixes, tiny little fixes here and there, that aren't too terribly interesting. So, I mean, I don't think any of this really changes the game too much, other than, like, the flying stuff for Sova and Astra. What do you guys think?
Yeah, just a pretty minor update. Though I will say, like, a lot of times people might see an update like this, right, and just glance over and be like, oh, it's just a minor update, nothing changed. But as somebody that came from CS, which is the primary rival to this game, right, it's the place where they're getting a lot of their players from, it's nice to see these tiny quality of life improvements. It's the kind of thing where there are tiny little bugs in CS that don't really impact the gameplay, and so they're not high priority. They've been around for like decades almost.
It's
like,
features now. They're features.
yeah, they're just features, but it gets really annoying, and they stack up. You know, it's tiny little things here and there, even just tiny UI changes. So I appreciate seeing these quality of life improvements as a CS player myself, because I think that kind of community that they're definitely not trying to pander to, but it is one of their primary demographics, appreciates these. So it's good. It's nice to see, even if it's not game changing.
I would agree. I think especially the Asher one's really nice. The Asher UI is really hard to like initially
Oh yeah,
get
it's
used
terrible.
to. It's like the worst thing about it by far. We'll talk more about Asher later, but I really like the character. But when I first time trying to play it, I was just sitting like in the menu for like 40 seconds, just like what I have no clue what I'm doing anywhere. So it's not. I think just the fact that they're making it a little easier to use is a really big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping maybe some other minor tweaks. But.
Still does not beat Brim's iPad. I'm sorry.
I know you hate that UI, right? Like with the Astra and the Omen UIs. You think they're terrible?
I just think they're just so slow.
They are
I mean,
annoying.
Maybe intentionally they're slow, but like they're just way too freaking slow. Like you have to get yourself oriented to put this like your stars down or your smokes down. I just want to use an iPad and bloop one thing. Like
It'd be so much easier.
I mean, it makes it easier, but it's probably intentional that they made things this way, you know, for the sake of probably the thematic part of these agents, and also to intentionally slow them down because they're not meant to be like Astra, for example. I don't think is meant to be like a you set this thing up like 0.1 seconds before they rush the site. Like you kind of planned this out beforehand.
Yeah, and I mean, that actually, there is one thing somebody asked me recently. As somebody that's played Omen for far too many hours, far more than any other character in the game, somebody asked me recently when it comes to Brim, or I think it was Brim, they were like, okay, so you've got your little iPad, how do you choose whether a smoke lands below an area or above an area? An example was like A site on, I guess A site Ascent will do. If you're trying to smoke off like that heaven area as a terrorist, as a attacker to push, I know, slip up. The CS days are coming back to me. They were like, okay, but how do I know the smoke won't fall to like under heaven, like that hell area? How do I get it to fall on the ledge that I want if it's directly above another ledge? I didn't have an answer for them. I imagine it just always goes to the highest ledge with Brim. That is one thing I guess that is nice about Astras is because you can see things from all angles. It's really easy to get stars exactly where you want them. I wonder if that could even lead to like lineups, because there are a lot of other characters that you can't really do certain lineups because they're just too far away from your reach, or you can't get close enough, or something like that. With Astra, I wonder if it would be like you aim at a very specific point in the map by looking at another spot, and it puts a star in a perfect place that has this like one way something. I could see that happening.
Yeah, like I've always thought about that. How like I think one of the reasons, especially in like comp, that Omen's just so superior to Brim is the ability to like really put those one ways up. Like you got the arrow on the UI. Like
Yeah.
Philip even mentioned that like Brim's not exactly fast at getting these smokes down. It's a little clunky. So like at the end of the day, at least if you're gonna take a while to set up the smokes, you might as well get the precision you get with Omen or Astra. But like Brim is like clunky. Only get like 3 smokes the whole round as well, which is less than both Astra and Omen potentially. And it just feels a little lackluster and awkward. So I definitely agree. I think having like the freedom to make the smokes exactly how you want them, get those angles right, the one ways on like maps like Bind and even Icebox over on B side. The Omen one way is very popular and competitive to just hold the initial swing. That stuff you can't do that stuff with Brim, and it's just why you don't see him really.
Ways you can do like on Bind a short, you can still do that one. Like
the one like on top of the box. Yeah,
you can do some of the one ways because like it basically just picks like the highest elevation point on where you're clicking, basically.
Right.
But there may be some one ways you can't do that you need to rely on an Omen or an Astra for, which is unfortunate. But like if
it
you're
does make
playing
things
Brim,
a lot easier.
You probably didn't care anyways.
Yeah, to a certain extent, definitely true. And I guess while we're on that topic as well, we can kind of jump into Astra. Last time we covered the actual update that added Astra, I believe that was the 2.
Yep, 2.04.
And we had a lot to talk about, from how we thought she would play, if anybody had played her. I talked about how I had kind of extensively gotten to play Astra as potentially my new main on the A team, and look to integrate into our team moving forward. The general consensus moving out of that was Astra would become probably the best smoke character in the game. And now we've gotten a little bit more of a chance to play more against her, play as her, seeing how, pro teams haven't utilized her that much, but seeing how some more experienced players have used her. There are definitely a couple tricks that have been coming out of her, and I would love to talk about how we think she's going to play now that we have seen her a bit more. On the topic of the whole one-way smokes, I will bring up one trick that people have been using with Astra, which is quite cheeky. I think you know what I'm talking about, Philip.
Yeah, I do.
I'll bring up a Reddit video here. This isn't I don't think this user actually discovered the trick, but ZIIX8 did post about it, and it is quite clever. So basically, the idea is that when you're in your astral form, you actually levitate, and that means you pull your legs up off the ground. So you can pop a smoke and then go into your astral form and hide in it, because your legs aren't showing. If it's like a one-way, and then you can pop out of it when they don't expect it. And it lets you do some cheeky things. Let's see if he's got some other examples here. I don't know if I full screen this. If you'll.
Yeah, it's good.
So here's a cheeky example. Normally they'd be able to see your legs there, and that's how they'd be like, oh yeah, there's a guy there. But if you float, it is very convincing that there is no one backside. It is a little cheeky, isn't it? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if it has that much. I don't know if it'll have that much impact in actual competitive play. I imagine a couple of these spots will get found out, and then people will start spamming them, start checking them,
spraying the crap out of it. Yeah.
But definitely for like the next week or so, if you're playing Astra in your games, or playing against an Astra in your games, be on the lookout. If there's a cheeky smoke and there's no Astra in sight, then You know, maybe she's doing
Yeah.
something like that.
Like those smokes. It's like, why would that smoke ever be there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I would get
like-
a little suspicious now that I know that people can do this, and I'd spam through everything.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think
It's very situational, I think. And maybe at lower elo, you'll be able to cheese some of these kills out, but, I mean, if players know about this, then no chance. You're just gonna get spammed.
It is cute though. It's nice to see people already finding these new ways to play Astra because I mean at the end of the day, it's not just that Astra changes the game and in how you play your util. This is also a new way to use her in terms of like almost like a movement ability in a way. Like being able to hide in plain sight. That's not just in a smoke. So it's cool to see because everybody saw a lot of ways that Astra might be busted, but this definitely was not one of them.
No way, dude. Imagine using an Omen one way, but then hiding inside of it, big brain.
as Astra, yeah, so they're less
Hiding
suspicious.
in the one
Yeah,
way.
or Brim or
no-
something that's like solid, the smoke that is, so they
Yeah.
can't even like really clear it that easily.
I know people love to rush, like, to hide in Omen smokes, but the real meta, hiding in the Brim smoke.
That's so
That was-
toxic.
Dude,
Like
With
you
the
got your
shotgun?
Bucky. Yeah.
Yeah, the way
hey,
they
that's what I do, okay? I refuse to play Omen. If we need a smoke character, I'm using Brim, because I don't know how to use the smoke
That's
menu.
Yeah,
That's
but I
really
guess we can jump into Astra now that we've pointed that out. Last time, my thoughts, I've kind of shared them already, but I thought that Astra was really. I didn't think that she was busted. I know a lot of time, for example, when Yoru first came out, everybody was like, oh, Yoru's absurd, he can teleport into your spawn, and then like literally nobody plays Yoru.
Yeah.
Same thing kind of happened with Skye. Skye's still really annoying when you do go up against her, but it's definitely not an overpowered character, I don't think. Otherwise, it's, I mean, it's certainly not picked often enough to show that,
Mhm.
that it is. With Astra, I thought that there was a chance for it to become like a top 5 pick in the game. I still kind of think that not as much. I'll let you guys talk first about.
Dude, I haven't even seen, I've barely seen Astras in my games. By the way, I've climbed out of the rabble and now I'm in Plat. So that means something. And people in Plat just, I don't know. I've seen a lot more Omens than I've seen Astras at this point. Maybe
Really?
people
I mean,
just
yeah,
haven't really
that's
gotten
fair.
used to it. Or people just decide that Omen's a more versatile agent pick here.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
you've
fair.
seen
I still think-
any of them.
Omen definitely like rules the smoke still.
Yeah,
They
I think Omen's
tried-
still a good
They
pick.
tried very hard to nerf him into Oblivion and make Brim more useful. For like a short period of time after the Omen nerfs, we saw people using more Brim lineups and stuff like that, trying to just. Still think he's the best smoke character in the game. I think.
Dude, come
especially
on, just
in
give
MM.
Brims 4 smokes, please. I
Ok-
don't want to
okay.
play Omen.
I think even less than the 4 smokes. Just get rid of Stim Beacon and give him a real ability on that. Like, because
Yeah.
Omen Teleport is just infinitely more useful than a
Yeah, no
Brim
way.
stem.
Here's the thing, ready? Stem beacon, but if the enemy goes through it, it's a debuff beacon. Now that
So you just throw away the entrance of like a site,
Yes.
so they can't run on without being like slowed and shoot slower, like almost like a
slow to
stun.
shoot. Yeah, slower to shoot.
Can't wait
Now
for
that
people to
would be
find lineups
absurd.
for that. Like throw Stim Beacon over the site, lands in like generator. I want, dude. Yeah, do that, and then make it so that the raised blast packs can blast pack Stim Beacons as they're in the air,
Oh
and
my
then you find
god.
lineups for
Oh.
that. Done. Problem solved.
Dude, come on. I mean, I maybe honestly the only reason I play Brim is because I can't handle Omen's smoke menu. Other than that, Omen's kind of the better smoke pick 99% of the time.
I personally
um,
prefer Brim ult to Omen
I
ult.
like
will
It's
say.
Brim
way
ult.
better. The alt. That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I think Omen's ult is I wouldn't say useless, but not as useful. Like with
It's
Brim
weak.
ult, you can use it to push onto a site, clear up space, deny, plants. With Omen ults, I mean, you can use it for repositioning, information, and like kind of like distracting the enemy, but I don't think it's anywhere as useful as Brim's ult.
It's definitely not. I mean, Brim's ult. Yeah, like one of the things that I've been using the Omen ult recently is to try to hard counter Killjoy ults. You wait until the ult is about to, be done, and then you ult like into their
Ooh.
spawn or whatever, and you break the Killjoy ult. Where they can't really, expect you to be there. It's pretty good, but even then, it's like I'm trying to think of that situation. Brim, you could just ult the ult itself if you really want. Like if you're wasting an ult to do that anyway,
Yeah.
kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree. I think Brim's ult is really it's honestly pretty good. I think it's better than people give it credit for. Especially if you know that one person is playing one angle, for example, and you can, I don't know,
Yeah.
use an Astra and a Brim, for example, to trap them there. Like that free pick can open up an entire round. That
BT
round
uses
could
a
be
Brim
big.
ult for bind U-Haul.
U-Haul? That's
Oh,
exactly the
U-Haul's
example
so
I was gonna
nice.
All
give.
the crap
Yeah.
of that. We like tremor. We either like do a tremor so they're stuck there, or we just straight up just ult that. So
Yeah.
like a tremor, then the ult, or just the ult itself, and you're almost always guaranteed a kill if they're playing in there. Like they can't escape.
So
Yeah.
nice.
That's definitely nice, but I don't think he really is as good as Omen overall, and I don't think I honestly think that for the for the sake of solo queuing and stuff like that, or queuing in lower than professional ranks, Omen is definitely better still. I don't think he's going to be surpassed just because of his versatility in his kit. You can really make a lot of plays by yourself. Astra, I still think objectively, on paper at the very least, is a better smoke character than Omen, but not by yourself. It's a better smoke character for
Yeah.
your team.
I would
I
agree.
think so. I don't
I-
think
Go for
Astra's as effective, if you're solo queuing in
Yeah.
comp.
No,
I've seen a bit of Astra. For context, I'm like gold 3 right now, so I'm like around that level. I think the ultimate is really good. Like really good.
it's pretty good.
I think that's the coolest part of her kit in my perspective, because like I think the setup on a site is crazy, but like I think the ult really brings a new element to the game that we didn't get before, and an idea that I like a lot moving forward. I think just the way you can execute with it, or even play like post plants with it, is like so fun and creative, and it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like frustrating to play against. Which like I think is like the most important thing for like balancing a game. You want to like add in these things that are like fun to play around, because like that's a problem. I come from a very heavy League of Legends background, and there's a lot of frustrating things in League of Legends that like when it happens, you're just like, oh, I can't wait this happen to me right now. But like I think that this game goes out of its way to avoid that. Sometimes is really nice. I think sometimes flashing gets a little like absurd in this game, but other than that, there's not many times I'm like, oh, I've died to something so stupid right now. Like it's just like stuff happens. And I also we touched on Sky earlier. I think Sky is so good. The pros have been utilizing her a lot recently too. I'd say like over
She's been
half the
getting more
teams-
utilized, yeah.
Yeah, over half the teams have been bringing her. Like almost no one's running Breach comparatively. It's mostly Skies you're seeing.
Yeah, but definitely not like from a game-wide standpoint do we have everybody embracing Sky, especially not
would
with like how overpowered people thought some of these new agents were going to be when they came out. Like it's sort of, especially with Yoru. I mean, Yoru is the best example. People thought Yoru was just going to become an insta pick. He was going to become the duelist. Like it just didn't really work out that way. But I
I'd be
totally get what you
lying
mean.
if I didn't fall into that category of thinking Yoru is going to be good. I really thought he'd be good, and then
Yeah.
he's there. He's
I
just
mean,
not great.
He's
what,
just
what
not very
changes
good.
would you even make to Yoru to make him more viable? Yeah, give him 3 flashes, just like Breach.
Would that even do anything? Like I don't.
Nah.
Yoru's flash is
I
so
don't-
easy to turn away from. Like they
Yeah.
come so slow.
And they're really annoying to throw as a Yoru.
Yeah.
Not as
I
easy
mean,
to
they
use them.
still get you, even if no, those are Breach flashes. They get you no matter where you're looking.
Breach is
That's
absurd.
true.
I still think. I still think Breach is like a top 3 character in the game, but that's a different conversation.
I would definitely agree. Top 5 minimum.
Yeah. Anyways, but I
Top
did
one,
want to,
bro.
before we can talk about Yoru in a sec. I did want to go back to one thing you did say, Joe, before I forget. You said that coming from a League of Legends background, there's a lot of annoying things in that game. That's definitely true. Another Riot game, and it's got like, I mean, I haven't played much, but like 140 characters or something stupid.
Yeah, 150.
That's kind of an absurd amount. It's interesting that you think Valorant has like it's almost like a refreshing less amount of annoying things. Coming from CS, it is like I get the same feeling as in like Valorant is so annoying, dude. Why is there so much stupid stuff in Valorant? Because CS is the polar opposite. It's so simple. Everybody has the same things going into it. Like basically the only thing that differentiates you from everybody else is your economy and your individual skill. Everything else is the same. Everybody has the same opportunities. I mean, you could argue different guns on each side.
Different
but-
guns. That's the one thing I was thinking. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like silencers and some guns or whatever.
But even then, you can pick up the other gun if you win the fight. So it's like
Yeah.
you can kind of work around.
Bro,
it.
picking up abilities in Valorant?
Could you
Broken.
imagine?
Oh no,
That'd be crazy.
I can't.
That'd be crazy. But no, so that's interesting that you bring that up because I find that Valorant has a lot of really annoying things coming from CS. And the main one that I guess I would say, and this will tie into Astra in a sec, is that I find it really hard to make this sort of slow contact style where you gain map control and you try to do things without the enemy knowing possible in Valorant. Because in Valorant you can get so much free information. You can shoot a recon arrow. If they don't shoot it, you know they're not like then they don't shoot it. But if they shoot it, you know they're there. If they don't shoot it and they get spotted, you know they're there. Like the only choice is to hide, and that in itself even disrupts the play for like a couple seconds. So it's the kind of thing where in CS it feels like everything is timed really well, and it's because of these like team-wide movements. It's like this strategic like dance almost. In Valorant, it feels like it's just so free to just be like, anybody on B, and you're like, oh, 1 sec. Yep, 4 of them. It's like, all right, cool, man. I guess I can't hide. So that's one of my concerns, and I think that what's interesting with Astra is because it's the first time we've seen more of these smokes in one character come out. It's now maybe more viable to do that strat where you slowly push up and take map control because you can afford to use smokes more frequently. You can afford to smoke off more choke points or more areas where they would otherwise get that free information on you. That might be interesting of a way to use Astra. I haven't really used her like that at all, though. So.
Dude, I haven't used her at all. I mean, I used them once in a Spike Rush, but let's just say I don't know how to use Astra.
The
Hands down.
menu. The
The
first time I
menu.
used that menu. The
Dude,
ultimate.
the
Trying to
menu? Dude, I don't even know how the ult
the
works
ult the
in
first
menu.
time. Oh, I did it so wrong. It was like cutting off my own spawn. I was so sad. I was like,
Dude,
ah.
I don't think I got it even close to.
That's funny.
Yeah. Very
No, she has a
interesting.
bit of a skill curve for sure. I think, I mean, this was something we mentioned last time as well, and I guess it's good to touch upon it now. Is a lot of people were pretty excited for her ult. You know, it looks really good. It lasts, I mean, time. The big thing that we brought up was, yeah, a lot of the stuff that it can do is really cool, but the one thing that we've never seen before in another ult is its ability to dampen sound. That can lead to a couple really interesting things. For one, like you can't hear plants or diffuses nearly as well.
Yeah.
So it's a lot harder to tell if somebody's on the bomb. Another thing, like think of shock arrows, for example. You can hear them coming. That's one of the, and you can see them coming. That's one of the few ways that you can dodge a lineup if you're playing somewhere and Sova shock darts you, for example. With this, you don't see them or hear them coming. They just appear. So depending on how you do that, it could be really interesting too. I would also say for the sound, I mean, I've seen some people make plays where they'll show like 5 at A bind, for example, and then wall off mid sight, and all 5 take TP. And depending on where the enemy's playing, you just don't hear that, and suddenly they're on B. So there's some really interesting possibilities with that. I definitely don't think it's overpowered. It's one of the better ults in the game, but I think it's all about how you play around it. So I would love to get your guys' thoughts on the actual ult. You've mentioned you like it a lot. How do you think like it matches up with other ults in the game, and how do you think that sort of sound dampening might play a factor into it?
My take is definitely that it's more of a util style ult. I'm thinking along the lines of like Viper Ultimate's the first thing that comes to mind, where it's like
Yes.
you really have to play around it properly. Like it's not just like jet knives where you're just gonna take him out and try to 1v9 with them. It's not a Brim ult where you're just gonna pop it down on U-Haul or on play post plant with it. So it's like it requires setup, which is why I think it's not great and why we don't see a lot of Astra in like pub games. Like because like realistically, like you can try to set up plays and talk with your teammates, but it's a little more difficult, especially in like I know at least I play a lot in like gold, low plat. Mics are sometimes rare. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people just
Mics
kind of
are rare.
yeah,
Dude.
people don't really talk. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
honest.
let me tell you about the plat experience. It's one of two things. People talking trash, either to the enemy or to your own team, right?
Yeah.
Or just like complete garbage like comms.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty funny.
so it's rare to be able to like coordinate like a really good ult. Like at least Viper ult you can kind of do your own thing with sometimes, but
Yeah.
it
Not
feels
quite
like
as
really this ult is probably the most like I'm trying to think
team-based kind of thing,
team-based
right?
that we've had up to this point. I'm trying to think if anything counters out of my head, but I don't think so. I think this is pretty much the most team-based one possible currently. And the implications for competitive are really cool, like in my opinion, especially the fact that they allowed abilities to go through it, like you were saying with the shock darts,
Yeah.
everything but jet knives, I believe, right?
I think so. Are you
Yeah,
sure
jet
jet
knives
knives
don't go
can't?
through.
Well, I guess
I was
because they're
told
kind
they
of like a
couldn't.
projectile weapon. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was told they couldn't. So other than that, like mollies go through, most of these shock darts go through. So I'm
Yeah.
just really I've seen a lot of it on Sea Haven specifically. That cutting off along with that ult is insane. Like it's like,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best places I've seen use of it currently. I think the teleporter thing you're talking about, I've seen a couple times on Bind as well, cutting the mid side of the map off and just taking full control in that regard. It's a little weaker on other maps. It's pretty good on Icebox. One thing I want to talk about Astra, slide tangent, instead of her ult is I think the pull, especially on Icebox, is really crazy because Icebox is like this map on both sites where you take a Sage and you basically wall off a corner and try to plant it down quickly and then retreat.
Yeah.
But the pull on those maps I've seen, especially even in like solo queue or in comp, has been huge currently. So I know like
Yeah.
we're gonna have Masters later, but Astra wasn't enabled in Masters, so the big tournaments haven't played her yet. But I think that's Astra on Icebox to me is like one of the strongest places to play her currently, just because of how it counters this meta of Sage, which like almost every team runs Sage on Icebox for the most part because of the utility. You have the wall off mid, you wall off the corners of sites, especially.
It's
on
pretty
each
much a
site.
must pick, I think.
yeah, I don't think anyone's not running Sage on that map from what I've seen.
Let us introduce you to the B team. No, just kidding.
Do you guys not run Sage on Icebox, really?
Well,
Do you play
actually,
Icebox?
we don't play Icebox, so
Yeah.
I
Oh
can't
well,
tell you.
then, there you go.
I can't-
You
I
ban
can't
it every
tell you.
time.
We
They ban
it.
it into them. Everybody bans
no.
it in NACCS.
Everybody
SMT,
bans
yeah.
it, yeah. I mean, regardless
Really?
of what we decide to ban, everybody bans Icebox. I mean,
Yeah.
we're consistently banning Haven because we cannot play that map for our life. But, I mean, if we ban Haven, the next ban that's going to come in is almost certainly Icebox. So, I haven't played a lot of it myself, but I have been pubbing without Sages on Icebox. I've been using Killjoy
sounds awful.
instead. It's not
That's
that bad.
really hard.
It's actually, it's not that bad because teams just forget that Tube exists sometimes. Like, they just forget
Yeah,
that
I
part of the
guess
map exists, right?
That's fair.
And if they start going up the tube, I just start watching mid with my kit with a turret on the what is it called, boiler?
On
Yeah,
the little,
there's-
little like
Yeah.
ramp.
On
Oh,
yeah,
the
and
stupid little. Oh my god,
yeah,
that
little
turret.
divot. Yeah,
so
I do
annoying.
that turret, and then I just put an alarm bot in the tube and a nade, and I mean, at plat elo they just forget the tube exists, and then I go back to playing a site, and it's broken. Honestly, Killjoy, I really kind of like her on Icebox just because of how well you can shut down a site.
The retake's pretty nice on A, I think, with Killjoy. Just because
yeah.
the entrance, you get so deep in that like little like crevice that you can really you force them to push you pretty much.
Yeah,
Especially if they don't plant
Have
for
you seen
long.
my setup, by the way, Gabe? It's somewhere in the B team chat. My setup for
Maybe.
A Icebox.
I would love to see it.
You know what? Do you want me to pull it up right now for stream?
Sure, yeah,
or,
send it to me.
Yeah, let's see it.
We
let's
have
check.
a lot of trouble with Icebox. We've tried to make it more part of our map. We played it in our last NACTS match, actually. We were up
Yikes.
9-3 at half, and we only won a single defense round.
All right, I just sent it to you.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
I'll pull that up for you. But no, we have a lot of trouble. We're definitely trying.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a default setup here. I sent it to you in Zoom. It's just like a image. You can get
I can
that.
pull it up because it won't.
Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, I can send it to you on Discord instead.
Huh.
Uh,
I kind
yeah.
of like it, but it's also like it's very like defense at the end, right? Like you're not making contact early, so you're basically
No,
waiting
no,
till
no.
they storm the site and then you're fighting back then.
Yeah, we're basically for this we're playing. It's more retakey, and
Mhm.
I prefer doing that. I think it's actually easier than contacting them most of the time. So I have my turret way behind that crevice, that back box there. You can see it on the screenshot.
Yeah.
Complemented by a nade in the usual plant spot near default. Sometimes I'll move that nade back further towards nest if they start to rush that. And then just an alarm bot and a nade complementing each other side by side. I'll either move that up or behind, like to line up with nest, depending on how aggressive they're playing. And basically, I just play off that gear, get a few picks, and the rest of the team just plays retake. I will play up on the default box just to get that headshot angle on Belt for some information. Or if we have an Omen, I'll have him play up and I'll support him from that box.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I play A pretty passively. I think it's better to play for retakes here, since with your nades, you're at least going to do a lot of chip damage to the enemy as they're coming in, or you're going to get a few kills. Typically, I play behind nest, just peeking either side as my util pops off.
I kind of like it just because I feel like a lot of the time, especially in comp play, less so in like solo queue, can sometimes just come down to one op shot on either side. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like the ops kind of battle it out, and whichever op wins, they just either the attacker op gets murked and then they just go over to back to mid or B site, or the defender op gets killed and then they just full rush your site. So like avoiding the contact sometimes and playing around that, especially if you're down at op or something, can be really good on this site.
That has not been my experience in higher level play. In comp and stuff like that, definitely. When we've gone up against some teams,
Mhm.
some less collegiate teams in the world, it has been rough. Or even just like in scrims. A lot of the times what we'll see is we'll either see that op battle going down at A, or we'll see this stupid aggressive style where they'll throw these really deep smokes. Basically one where that alarm.
Yeah,
they would
I know
throw
that
like one
smoke.
where that alarm bot is. They'll throw
They'll
another
cut the
one,
site.
like either
Right
one
near the
like
turret,
on this
right?
box, on
Yeah.
the box on the right where you're turning.
Yeah.
Or they'll just put it down below where the nade is. And then what they'll do is they'll send a jet and a raise, blast packing and dashing, and they'll fly through those smokes with like a phoenix flash or something, and they'll just take like all of sight, and they'll take back sight, they'll swing everything, there'll be an opera posted up top. If you want to peek above sight, you're dead. If you want to like
Yeah.
push through the smokes, you're dead. So it's like I get it, but if there's somebody flying at Mach 3 with her stupid blast packs, then I don't feel like those nades stop that. And also,
They won't at all. And I've
Yeah.
encountered that with arrays just coming right in. It destroys my gear because they're coming through elbow or something. I don't have that nade. So I mean, other than that, we just play retakes. I don't know if I think aggression into A, like deeper into A, can be more difficult on this map. Like if you're gonna push, I think B long is a little easier to contest.
it depends on what you're running.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on how you do it. I can talk about, I guess, the match that I was referencing. Plus 13 and we had an abysmal defense half. Our attack half was great. I felt like we had a lot of versatility in what we could do. Sometimes we split B through mid, like under tube really fast. Sometimes we ran up tube and split A. Other times we TP'd on top of tube and tried to get a pick there, or we fought the guys on A. There was a lot we could do on attack. On defense, they did the exact same thing on attack every single round, and it worked over and over. They would send their Raze by themselves towards A, and she would lurk until she got a kill. And if she got a kill, they wouldn't commit. They would just keep waiting until like 30 seconds left, and then they'd commit together. Or they would send like 3 people toward B long, and they would send a drone out from Sova, and a jet op right off the back of it. And then the jet would stay posted up there, and a Phoenix would walk up off the back of the drone. So if you peek deep, you get droned and then opt. If you peek before the drone, you get droned out. If you don't peek deep, the Phoenix walks up on you with the drone. It was impossible to hold B long. So the only thing that worked for us that one round that we won was we did a deep 2-man A main push. And because only Raze was there, we managed to kill Raze, and suddenly they lost control of half the map. That worked for us because we just could not contest B long for the life of us. Nothing we did could. It's crazy. And we had a Sage. We had, I don't think we had a decent setup. So it's interesting, I guess, how different teams
Yeah, not
play.
4 duelists like you usually do.
No,
That's a
not 4
surprise.
duelists.
4 duelists, oh man.
Yeah, I
We
see where
used to run 4
contesting.
duelists.
I see where contesting A has value, especially when you know there's only one player or maybe one or two players playing there. It's way more free than if they're consistently trying to get info off of A and there's like 3 or 4 of them always there. That's when I start to play more passively. But playing off of information is, I think, a lot like aggression on especially on defense side is more valuable in Valorant.
I say so.
Yeah, something I want to implement more in on the B team. We tend to play a little more passively, though. Honestly, Pystrom kind of getting cracked right now with his let's just peek with the flash, boom, dude, domes 2 guys and just pulls back. Yeah.
I think he's in the chat too. Actually,
He is.
for a little
Pystrom in
bit.
the chat. My guy Pystrom is actually kind of cracked right now. If you've seen his recent performance, his KD is like 2. Like
Really?
That's absurd.
Like he's twice as many kills as deaths. Like I don't know, Missile. I think we're gonna put somebody else on Jet.
That's about
that's
10
all I'm
times higher
saying.
than my KD, so well.
Yo, let's go.
What league are you guys playing in, out of curiosity? Or the
Build
division?
Nitrogen.
The two.
Yeah.
For me, we're playing in. Well, we lost in CSL unfortunately, so we're no longer in there. We got eliminated. But we're playing in CEA right now, and we had a game against RPI Whites a week ago, and I gotta say, got some cracked performances from Pystrom, and I actually started to get I started to really feel myself on the last map split, and I think it was 19-7 or something. My KD was off the charts that game.
You guys did
Yeah, we won.
I was gonna say, I
we
hope
made it
you
to
won
3
it.
maps.
I can't imagine losing with 19-7. That'd be a.
Yeah,
Hey, do you want
actually-
me to pull up some of the A team scoreboards? Like, Daniil has
19-7
dropped
how would
40,
you-
and we've lost.
How would you
Like,
lose 13 rounds and only die 7 times? I'm
Okay,
trying to
the
think
7
of
is pretty
Okay.
impressive. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you
yeah.
saw
Okay,
some of the
well,
kills
I
that
lied.
Daniil
It was
has dropped?
It was 19-11.
Okay, that's a bit more reasonable.
So
Yeah,
a little
okay,
more
okay.
reasonable, but
Yeah,
it was
for sure.
probably my career best performance. I was holding down A site split, and Dari was showing me some real sick setups that were garnering me like 2-3 kills like by default. So yeah, I was super excited about that game. We're about to scrim today too, so
Ooh. Who you
but
scrimming?
again,
Maybe let's say her.
I have no idea who we're scrimming right now, so we'll find out, I guess, when I ask them. Hey, what
That's the
school you guys
real
from?
Joe's job. Real
That's
Joe's
true.
job.
Mr. Kwan himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What you think Mr. Kwan's watching?
he doesn't watch. He watched like the first 2, and he's like, all right,
No
you know
way.
what you're doing.
Yeah. He's definitely in the chat right now under an alias, you know.
No,
Yeah,
shut
yeah.
up.
Just making sure everything's club
A-okay.
standard.
AG?
Yeah.
Yeah, the club standard.
yeah.
Of course. But no, yeah, I guess, I don't know. When it comes to the whole Icebox talk, it's been a team. I don't know.
I
So
might
I guess
scrim Icebox. You know, it would be
I
cool
would
to
love
scrim
scrim
Icebox.
You want to scrim us? It'd be great. Let's do it. Please
No,
scrim
no,
us.
no, no. I have a
No, no,
feeling
no.
that we wouldn't do too well. For a number of reasons. First of all, I think our rank difference is like a factor of 2 or something. Like, what are you guys, like a Diamond Immortal team?
Our lowest rank is me, and I'm Plat 3.
All right.
Then we have like a Diamond 2, a Diamond 3, another Diamond 3. I think Daniel's about to be in a.
Gotcha. So our ranks literally make no sense. I think Dari's a Diamond 2 or 3. Bobber's a Diamond 1. I'm Plat 2. Who else? Pystrom is Silver 2, and yet this man is able to have a KD of 2. So that makes no sense. And then Missile's Gold 3, I think. 2 or
Your
3?
lowest ranks are your.
Yeah, our lowest ranks are just fragging out of their mind, apparently. Like, Missile consistently doing well as a gold, and, like, just demolishing Diamond Plat teams is kind of beyond me, so. Ranks don't matter, apparently.
Doesn't play solo queue kind of deal probably.
I mean, he plays with his friends, does a little
I
solo
see.
queuing, but I think Missile is better with a good team behind him, honestly. And, like, as an individual player, he's really good, and his like, form of measured aggression, getting 1 or 2 picks here and there, and getting the hell out of there with Jet is really valuable. Yeah,
We also had
remember
no
it,
flashes,
okay.
to be fair, so that didn't help
Yeah.
against an op jet, but.
Yeah. Well, you know what you could have done? Just smoked him out the angle, lol. What is he gonna
Bro, I
do?
tried, okay? I tried. We had an entire conversation about this. I tried.
I remember that
work.
conversation. Yeah, you and Daniil were just going,
were
at
going
it
at
for like
it.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
I
we went
mean-
into a custom. I was like, all right, I'll prove it. I can't do it. It's not possible. And he's like, but then you do this. And I was like, but then you'll back off there. It was a great combo.
Don't worry
Um,
about it. All you have to do is just DDoS Missile and he won't be able to play. So it's
Or
not
just
hard
play
to
True.
play
with
like
Flash,
that.
maybe.
DDoS
God
is
forbid.
guaranteed.
DDoS guaranteed disconnect, right? Easy.
Fair enough.
Can't go wrong.
Where does he live on campus? I'll just walk over.
Yeah,
DDoS.
just go plug
Yeah.
plug the power.
Hey, he
Yeah,
just like tap him on the back. He turns around, pull his power cable. And then,
That's
Um,
great.
yeah, no, but I would love to see, like, it's great to see over time how both the A team and the B. I mean, I remember we've only ever scrimmed against each other.
Yeah.
Once was
but-
on Haven right after we got our new. Like we had Optum and Daniil on. You had BFK and Dari on.
Mhm.
It was a bit of a stomp.
Yeah, kind of, for some
I
reason.
think we won like
wonder
13-1.
why. I was probably playing Cypher back then. That
You
trash
were, I
agent that
remember.
nobody cares
Yeah.
about.
But
I
you
mean, you
guys have
still see
improved so
Cypher in
much
pro
since then.
play. You see a lot of Cypher in pro play, but kind of not my style. So
Not as much anymore though. Definitely, I feel like you're seeing
Uh,
more killjoys.
yeah. There
Yeah.
was who was running Cypher though? I believe
Steel was
Sentinels-
running it on Haven.
Steel, yeah.
Yes.
There was some Cypher, but
A Proto also plays him right now.
yeah, in the finals, grand finals, we saw some Cypher from FaZe. Was it FaZe or was it
FaZe
Sentinels?
was running Cypher.
No, Sentinels was running
think
Cypher,
so.
I think
right?
Sentinel, Dapper, right?
Dapper, yeah, he was playing.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was
I
playing
don't think I
Cypher.
was like FaZe doesn't run.
No,
doesn't
they're
run
running
Cypher.
Killjoy, or they're running Killjoy, or they just don't play with the Sentinel. They play with Breach instead, or something
Yeah.
like that.
And speaking of which, we can go ahead and transition into that. We are kind of getting close to the hour mark. So let's go try to talk about the other thing we wanted to do, which was the recent Pro Valorant play, which we don't cover as much as we probably should.
Bro, who
This
cares about
podcast.
Pro Valorant? It's all
I
about
know, bro. It's all
collegiate
about our
Valorant.
play. And I guess just to wrap up our play when it comes to the team. So you guys are still in CEA, right? How's
Yep.
that going?
I believe we are. I mean, honestly, a little rough. Let's see where we are in the standings. In our Swiss group, we're 8th with 3 wins, 3 losses, and honestly, one of those losses could have definitely became a win if we weren't like kind of in a slump collectively as a team. But hey, it is what it is, and I believe we're still in it if I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly check the playoff bracket to see if we're actually in there.
Does CEA have 2 divisions? Or is it just one for everyone?
No, it's just one for everything. It's just the open series. I mean, we have immortal diamond teams in this, just fragging the crap out of everybody else. So
Maybe we should do
Makes sense.
No, that's okay, fair, yeah. In NACCS, which is, so reference for anybody. No, both the A and the B teams played in CSL. They made playoffs. I believe you guys got second, right, in your conference?
yeah, we were second place in our conference.
Yeah, so you went to playoffs. We got 4th, so we did not go to playoffs. He does. We also both do secondary leagues. Yay, we did.
Mhm.
Basically. And you guys are 3-3. Does that mean you?
In CA, I have no clue because let's see. I'm trying to look at teams with the same record as us, and they are in the playoff bracket. We're not. I don't know what that means. That could mean, well, you guys are just too bad. I'm sorry. You're not
CE
playing with
done?
us.
Do you have any
Is
more?
it over? 3-3?
CEA playoffs?
I mean, like
don't
pre-playoffs, like group.
Oh,
not done.
group stage is completely done. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you should probably find out then if you're.
Yeah, I was
should
gonna
probably
say
find
what.
out. I should probably find out if we're too bad to make the cut.
So control F brings up no Boston University.
Yeah, not on the playoff bracket at least. So, I mean, let's see. So it's 22 teams. Maybe the cutoff was 6th place because Purdue is there with the same record as us. And we are not in the bracket. So that could mean our performance was not good enough to make it through. I'm completely unsure about that right now. But, I can probably ask the league if we're up.
It
or
might be
if they're just-
head to head. It looks like Purdue got the best of you guys as well.
Unfortunately.
Yeah,
So-
they probably do like big ties like that.
It is what it is, and I'll send you the normal bracket within our group. Yeah, they definitely they were on top of their game, and we were not.
I can't speak to CEA, but I can speak to NACCS. NACCS is only 64 teams, and the top 48 of them.
Oh, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And we come in at number 47, baby.
Woo!
On our way to
Let's go.
playoffs. Let's go.
Yoo-hoo! Yeah.
With a what was our record? 4-6 record. Should have
Hey.
probably been 5-5. We threw a couple.
Yeah. Relatable.
But, yeah. 4-6 record with 2 buys, by the way. Which is, kind of terrible.
That is interesting.
But at least we're going to playoffs. It'll be fun. And I mean, the guys here.
Yeah.
Even
I
the
hope
teams that
there's another
stomped us in
open league.
CSL aren't.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just wanted to play. I think Northeastern did make it.
Mhm.
If they did,
Those
if we.
fools.
I did cast them at our tournament we had here at Boston University. They had they had one player. What was his name? That everybody in the chat just wouldn't stop talking about.
The stupid jet.
Yeah, so it's some meme. I didn't fully get it, but we were just rolling with it on the broadcast. I don't know. Northeastern. Our goal is definitely to hunt them down in league and beat them in a tournament as well. That's kind of on our. That's on our registrar. That's like the final goal for, as the coach of the League of Legends varsity team, is I will find their Northeastern team and I will beat them in a tournament. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Can we
Put
hope
it
the
down.
same for the BU Valo teams?
I think we could beat them. They went 5-5. We went 4-6. We were
Okay.
playing some stupid teams at like 5 or 4. A bad record. Like we were still playing like full. Like the last team we played at
Gotcha.
4-5 was a full.
I
And
will
we-
tell you, the B team has won against the Northeastern C team, which doesn't really mean much.
That's something.
But
All
Okay.
right.
The
I'll
C's
tell you.
okay. Hey.
I'll tell
okay.
you this though: the B team for Northeastern just decided to dissolve when we were
Oh,
like
so they-
completely from CSL.
So you
we
beat the
never
B
got a-
team.
I mean, if there's no B team,
beat
is the C
Crap.
team now the B team?
So you're
Right?
Better
saying-
B team wins.
So you're
No,
saying the
it's
B
B team
team,
then.
the BUB team, beat Northeastern twice, and we lost to Northeastern. Feels bad, man.
I mean, you could
They
say
beat us in
that.
NCSL.
I mean, well, what I'm guessing what happened to the Northeastern B team is they saw, oh, BUB? Oh, we can't win. Let's get out of here. And then they
Yeah,
just let the C
you guys are
team
pretty
handle
correct.
it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to play against you, to be honest.
With our roster additions, whew, nothing can get behind. Dude, let me tell you, Bobber carrying us to victory every time we have to play Ascent because our bands went the wrong way, kind of cracked. The man is doing it on 67 ping. there's something up. Bobber on normal ping is kind of like getting rid of the leg weights from Brock Lee and Naruto or something.
Are you guys gonna be at the? Can be. I think you can be at the Red
Battle,
Bull.
the Red Bull land. That's like an in-house BU thing, right?
Yeah. So I guess I can. I don't think this is.
No,
I
I
no.
don't know
This is
about
all
this. Enlighten me, honestly.
Oh, Oregon
Yeah.
University, or yeah, Oregon State is doing the same stuff too. Like Red Bull's
So-
doing it across college campuses.
They are. Let me pull it up real quick. It's called the Red Bull Campus
for-
Clutch, I
yeah.
think.
Campus clutch. Yep.
Here, up on stream so we can look at it. Basically, what this is that Red Bull hosting a large collegiate Valorant, a global Valorant tournament designed for university. And the idea is they're hosting tourneys all across like both the country and
Oh wow.
just trying to get the best collegiate students in each area.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many there are going to be in the Boston area, but I know that it's number of
Number 4.
well, but
Yeah.
it said like 13 there. Anyway, I don't know if that's the number of turns. 8? That seems like a. Anyway, all I know is BU is hosting one of their tournaments. Not on our campus. Ireland seats. Can turn. And basically what that means is that any students from BU have to be a BU student to and any students from BU can a team.
The
Let's go.
pub team, basically.
Yeah, and I think I mean because there's 35 slots open. 7 teams.
Yeah.
Assuming that okay, so I mean, yeah, 7 teams. The A team's gonna be there. I'm fairly certain. Like,
Yeah.
B team might be there. Probably another 5
Honestly,
teams.
just make a mega team. Just make a mega team from the A and the B team. That's what I would suggest.
When
Since-
is this game? Is
Since
it this
after
semester?
campus clutch, you will be facing other campus teams. So you know.
Yeah,
as
I just
well
want to be
pick a-
Northeast.
Yeah.
I can find out for you.
I'm only a BU student so much longer, Gabe. I'm old.
Yeah.
You
I
wanna
would
come
love
play?
to show up and get 13-0. It'd be so fun.
Yeah, it's on land, so we actually get
I
to
know
play
exactly.
on
I'd
the land. like,
playing. I would pay money. I'm sure there's an entry fee, probably something, just to get 13-0 and land. It'd be fun as hell. Like heck.
that sounds great.
Uh,
I'd be super down.
That'd be
Yeah.
quite something, huh?
I can't. Scrolling through chats, it was posted here at some point.
Mega
yeah. So, but any
awkward.
BU student, April 10th. Oh wait.
I know.
Oh wait. Oh no. April 10th. That's what we're doing an FSU tournament. Ah,
Oh yeah, Quantum says April 10th.
April 10th. Dang. We have a league tournament that day
Campus
online.
clutch. Oh
FSU.
no way.
I'll send MIT help.
Quantum
Okay, so there's
actually
only 2
watches
going
the
on.
stream.
I know Quantum's actually
Crap,
in the
dude.
stream.
I'm
That's
surprised he didn't
crazy.
say anything earlier than when we dissed him for not watching the stream. He probably.
I think he
wasn't-
came
we
in
didn't say
late.
that.
I think he
Yeah, we
wasn't
didn't say
watching.
that, Quantum. We didn't say that.
Yeah, we didn't make
Um,
fun of you. Don't worry.
No, not at all. So, anyway, yeah. So April 10th, we'll probably be there. That's one of the tourneys we'll be competing in. There is also another tourney in the works that I don't think I can leak.
I know it.
Or-
I know it, and I won't talk
I don't
about
think
it.
we can
My lips
leak,
are
right?
sealed. My lips are
Um,
sealed. My lips are sealed, but I know what it is about. It's very exciting. Best
Yeah.
of luck. It might
Basically
involve some
just a
players on
tourney
the B and
for
the A team.
Some local
you know.
teams.
We'll say it's a battle. It really is a battle
It
for
is.
Beantown. It's a battle for Beantown. It's gonna be epic.
It'll take place in Boston.
Oh, he was muted exactly when we dissed him. That's clean. I like that.
That's hilarious.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Calculated.
Yep.
I actually called him so that he would have to, get off his headphones.
That's amazing.
No, so
I'm definitely
that'll be
looking forward to
interesting.
watching this. If we're casting this, you're
Ooh.
about to get some hype
that'd be so
casting.
fun.
You're about to get some hype casting.
Speaking of which,
Okay.
I guess I'll just say this. This I definitely can't. But I've been on the production team for NECS for CS:GO
Wow.
stuff, and now that we're going to playoffs, we're actually like working to face it properly. That'll be really cool. I'm just gonna say, if you're interested in either CS or Valorant, the playoffs for NECCS on the actual Face It like Twitch channels, the stream team over there is really cool. Just shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Okay, can't argue.
Interesting.
Unlike all these great tournaments that we've been talking about, we have a bit of a smaller tournament to talk about as well. The Valorant Champions Tour 2021.
Yeah.
Otherwise known
cares
as
about
Valorant
that.
Masters.
Whatever that is, honestly.
Just a
Wow.
small little
What?
tourney. I will bring that up for our amusement. This is what we were trying to mention earlier, which we can now talk about a bit more. Basically concluded with some, I would argue, disappointing showings from FaZe. They did okay, but getting 3-0'd by Sentinels.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts in this tournament. Like
So,
outside of
yeah.
being the grand finals.
Yeah. Go
We'll
ahead,
just,
roll
I guess,
for 'em.
quickly look at the teams that were here. Most of these names are pretty known to you. Luminosity, 100 Thieves, FaZe, Envy, Sentinels, Immortal. These are orgs that are across multiple esports. Even Gen G is pretty well known. The only one here that might not be very well known wise is maybe XSET. I know I haven't heard of very much outside of Valorant.
Yeah. No clue.
I don't think
Agreed.
any of these players are particular. We definitely have a lot of super well players, mostly CS pros. Notably, Sentinels has Shazam 6 on
Tens.
Dapper 10.
Yeah.
Um,
My boy
Envy, I
Tags.
mean, I'd say FNS and Food. So, I mean, those are CS pros, I think. FaZe doesn't. How many of these guys are
Overwatch
actually from
players.
CS?
They're Overwatch.
Yeah, I think they're.
Bro, I can't believe Overwatch players are playing Valorant.
And they're popping
are.
off
That's
too.
crazy.
They're clean.
They are
they're
ascending into
pretty
the
good.
Shadow Realm, dude.
I mean, Baby Bay's
believe-
been looking top 5 in NA.
Yeah, bro,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
believe
yeah.
they know how to counter strafe. Yeah, Baby Bay was.
100
fast.
Thieves is actually like all season. Most of these names.
Asuna isn't, I believe,
Asuna
right?
isn't,
Yeah.
but the rest of these guys, I don't know who from.
This is their coach.
And then Luminosity, I know Moose from. I don't.
Dre, your boy Dre is a PUBG player, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
He was the original one on
interesting.
the 100 Thieves team with Hiko, because Hiko had like 4 PUBG
Nice.
players.
Oh,
with
you're
him.
right. He used to. Yeah, it
Yep.
was Hiko and like a bunch of PUBG players for some random reason.
And they were bad. They were
It
really
wasn't
bad.
good. Yeah, I mean, you're playing a third-person shooter. Like, what's going on? PUBG? Like, bro, wrong game. Go back
They're
to
actually from
GTA.
PUBG Mobile. Previously, before this. Before this, they were playing Flappy Bird competitively. Yeah,
No,
I forgot to mention
dude.
that.
Oh
Yeah. All right. Well, you get. I'm telling you, 100 Thieves is not gonna sign you. I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely not.
And
When
then the
you go
final team
pro-
here, Gen G. They do also have a lot of CS players. I know for a fact, like, I mean, Kusta and GM. CS, I don't know.
Gen G.
So I
I'll
think.
kind of.
Hey, go for it.
Who's on their org? No, I'm just seeing who's in their org right now.
Their CS
Oh,
team
they're
isn't
players?
that good, but they do have some well.
Their League of Legends team is really well known because they won Worlds once upon a time, season 6.
Yeah, are
It's
any of these like orgs
seven,
really
seven.
big in games? I know Immortals is massive, right?
100 Thieves Immortals was like really good in NA LCS initially, but then they got booted.
Oh,
They got
yeah.
and then
Didn't they buy their spot back?
They did buy their spot back, but they've been terrible since coming back. They're like bottom of
Okay.
the boards every season. So 100 Thieves also came in when the franchising came through, and they've been like 100 Thieves in like LCS is like the worst because they came out of the gates a really strong team. Like they were the only new team initially that looked good. Like 4 new teams came in at once, and like it was like Optic came in, they bombed out array. They were terrible always. There was Golden Guardians, which is like the Golden State Warriors like sub brand, and they've also been really terrible for the most of the time. But 100 Thieves was good, and now they keep buying all this talent and then mismanaging it as much as possible. Like they
There's a
have
lot
all
of
these.
talent on this team too.
Oh yeah, they have all the money. They literally took basically. They have one of the best top laners in the game for League of Legends. Someday, who came from Korea. He's been here for now in NA for a while. He's amazing, and they bought like a 4-man piece of like one of the best teams in NA from the previous season, and they've just mismanaged it as anything. They're terrible. Like they bombed out of the playoffs this week in a humiliating fashion. So okay, but that's us League of Legends. Let's get back. Let's get back
Anyway.
to this because I have thoughts on
But yeah,
this.
big orgs though. But yeah, we can jump into the actual itself. And I didn't get a chance to catch as much of this as I would have liked. It's been a crazy week for me. Just, pro Valorant as I should. But I know that you did, Joe. So why don't you run
Oh, yeah.
us through your?
I think the biggest thing here, of course, is this is the Tens tournament. It's going to be remembered as where like Sentinels had their controversy with Sinatra, and they bring in Tens as a sub, and he immediately gels, and they kind of murdered this whole bracket. They dropped a game along the way to Luminosity, which is the only game they dropped the whole tournament, and they threw that map really hard too. I was watching that one live. They were up like 10-3 on split, and they just got run back and they lost in double OT. So they looked shaky at first, but they murdered 100 Thieves, and then FaZe was a cakewalk both times, minus map 1 in Grand. So I'm not going to talk too much about Sentinels, because honestly,
Just better.
the story was just domination. Like
Sentinel
they
just
just
took everybody to the Shadow Realm, and with the addition of Tens, just absolutely tearing it up by just showing up and playing his game. That was incredible
yeah.
to see.
Let me see if I can find the stats for that while you guys are talking.
yeah, I think for me the coolest thing in this tournament, which is a bit under the media is not really talking about it, is Gen G. Because Gen G, basically they qualified for the 3rd challengers by barely beating TSM in a really, really tight series. It was great. I don't know if you watched that one, Philip. That was the one where Kusta 1v2 clutched in OT.
I didn't watch that one. No.
Oh, it was a tragic 1v2 clutch. Like I remember Drone and Hayes messed it up so bad on B site. bind. You can watch the clip. It's painful to watch if you're a TSM fan like me. That's my favorite team, but it's kind of hard to be a TSM fan. It really is awful. I'm gonna be honest. Like I hate it so much.
Listen, all I know from TSM are horror stories. That's all I know. Like not even about the teams and like the players, just about the org.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, okay. Reggie. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about
the whole
it.
Lena scandal. No.
Oh man, there's so many things with the Dardoch. Yeah, Dardoch.
Yeah, Dardoch.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't even get me
it's
started.
fine.
TSM fans so painful, but I am unfortunately. I think Gen G, because they barely scooted into Challengers 3 and they bombed out so fast. They got like I think they won 0 maps in that Challengers. They looked relatively weak. It was Challengers 2, bombed out of Challengers 2 super hard, and they come into Challengers 3. They get the last spot available. I think they were the 8th seed potentially. Yeah, they are, because Envy's the 1st seed. So they come in here as the worst seed. They have a really tight knit series in the first round versus Envy. Really close games, honestly. They barely don't get it done though. And they drop down to the losers bracket and they go on a tear in the losers bracket. Like they're really like Xset destroy Xset. Xset, granted, super disappointing run from them. They are the other team that beat TSM to get where they are, and they didn't get to, because like the way the bracket worked here for people who follow a little bit less is if you got top 4 in Challengers 2, you didn't have to play in Challengers 3 at all. So some teams are coming in relatively cold, and like I know Riot has like a lockout on like smaller tournaments if you're like a top team. So like there's literally, other than scrims, you can't really get any practice if you qualified already. So I said it's been kind of cold, and they just look super bad. Like FaZe rolled them over, Gen G rolled them over. They got 0 for it in the whole tournament. So super disappointing from them. But Gen G comes down, murders them. So 100 Thieves drops out from Sentinels after having, because basically there's all that controversy going around now where like 100 Thieves had a whole argument with coaching staff over what server they're going to play on. That's been all over the news recently. Did you see that one, Gabe?
I did not, but that sounds stupid. That sounds like a really dumb thing to argue over.
Riot actually banned their coach.
No
too.
way.
Yeah.
So B team just plays on the server where Bobber will have a reasonable ping.
Really?
Yeah, we literally start by Daniil's ping. It's just like wherever Daniil can ping, we just go there.
All right, so
Daniil
Bobber's
needs to
West Coast, so the only servers that really work for us are like
Illinois.
U.S. Central Illinois. Everything else we literally can't play on because the ping is astronomical for Bobber. So, unless we insist on West Coast. Now that would be hilarious.
I will also just bring this up while you're talking. These are the actual stats for the tourney. You weren't kidding, man. Like 10's going on a tear is a bit of an understatement.
Oh yeah.
Frankly, that's kind of
yeah.
absurd.
Baby Bay as well though.
Rating.
Yo, let me look at these stats here. I just want to see like what site is that, by the way?
It's the Spike. I'll drop it to you.
All right, yeah.
Look at all those brim picks, man. Wait, what? Wait a second.
Whoa.
I don't see a single brim pick. That's
Wait,
so weird.
People play Brim? Dude, look at the
Yeah, there's no Brim.
What I'm very interested about, look at the split between Cypher and Killjoy. You're actually seeing still plenty of picks.
More Cyphers than Killjoys, actually. I was wrong completely.
Yeah, I think it's just perception. That's very interesting to see that people are still running Cypher. I mean, I guess it just comes down to playstyle, and people who do end up playing Cypher are still good at fragging, and they just use their gear to like kind of support them. Whereas like when I play Killjoy, I play off my gear more. What's that?
More Phantoms than Vandals? That's shocking.
Barely though.
Yeah,
barely.
but I didn't think it would even be close. I thought Vandal would be leading by.
Nah, that's not shocking to me at all.
On defense, the pros almost always buy Phantoms just because you gotta spray down.
Yeah.
Spraying with the Vandal is so hard comparatively.
I think the Phantom is a great choice for defense or anything where like you're just up in somebody's face just because of the fire rate.
I agree.
Let's see what other picks.
So I think the most notable thing for me is that I'm noticing no Viper as well. I think Viper on Split has been getting a lot of, and even on I've seen a lot of. I know SKT was running or T1. Sorry, I'll always call them SKT. T1 was always has a big Viper player. But he's not. They're not in this tournament, of course, and they always were running Viper on Icebox. But 0 Viper picks coming out of the whole tournament. A little sad, but
yeah. What's very interesting, the huge presence of Sova here. I don't think I've even encountered a team that doesn't consider running Sova on most maps.
Yeah,
mostly just Split. You don't run them, right?
Lots of Omens, yeah. On Split, some teams will probably just drop.
Oh, there's only 2 splits on the tournaments. Right. That probably has a huge effect.
I can't believe people are more willing to play Icebox than Split here. Like, whew.
People don't mind Icebox as much, honestly. Like, if you, it's not a bad map. You just have to know how to.
I mind it more. I'd rather play split, honestly. But that's just me. Lots of raises, lots of jets. That's kind of
Shocking.
predictable. Kind of predictable with the jet stuff. Like, jet plays
Yeah.
are just fantastic. Dude,
Yeah.
look at that. I'm looking at the
Where-
stats for top players right now. Tens and Baby Bay just kind of like neck and neck here.
Baby Bay
And then
was doing some insane stuff. I'm
Sick
gonna be honest.
also, Sick
Yeah.
also on Sentinels. Like a lot of these top players are on Sentinels. Tens, Sick, Dapper, who's typically playing a Sentinel. Like he plays a Hatman. Yeah.
Yeah, Hatman. I mean, when
It's
you
still getting frags, yeah.
drop one map the whole tournament, you're gonna dominate all the stats realistically, right?
Ooh.
Like it's
Yeah,
It's pretty
they're,
good.
They're taking kids to the cleaners here. Shout out to
Yeah.
Tens, my Vietnamese.
I will say though,
brethren.
Joe,
Let's go.
where are the sky picks, Joe? Said all the.
I thought they were. I've seen so much
Yeah.
Sky. Not this
Yo,
tournament, I
Joe's
guess.
capping.
I'm
Unless this isn't
capping then.
showing anything below 11, like 10 picks or something.
I
maybe
could have
it's not
swore
showing.
there was at least one because I know Sentinels was running Sky all
You know
throughout
what?
challengers.
Let me go to agents.
Thick plays a
Here we go.
ton of Sky.
Let's see.
Zero
There
Oh.
was
cents.
no skies, no
Zero sky.
vipers, no brims, no yorus, no astros.
Yeah, I think Astra's not even available.
Yeah, Astra's
yet.
banned.
She wasn't.
So banned.
They
right?
there was so much Sky up in the challengers. I guess Masters. They're all blending together in my head. I guess I'm just
They just
wrong.
built
Like,
different, dude. Just built
not a
different.
Yeah.
single Sky. That's crazy.
no
actually.
skies.
I know Sick loves to play Sky too, so I'm shocked he never brought it
Dude,
out.
the incredible pick rate of Omen though, 100%. That just shows the dominance of Omen at high level play. Like, there's nothing like him.
No,
they-
he's definitely like. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how that drops with
With
Astra becoming viable.
This is when we're gonna find out the pros love Omen way too much.
I could see it happening. I could see people sticking with him. He's too versatile. Like he's just
I
so
think,
good.
Yeah, I think he's also overall. I'd say with Astra, like there's like a lot of tells with the stars where like you kind of can read the enemy or like read what's gonna happen.
Try to.
With Omen, you have more immediacy. I think less tells.
One thing
Yeah.
we didn't really talk about either in the Omen conversation is just how good the Flash is. Realistically, I know like that's like one of the main reasons pros love him so much is that Flash opens up sights so easily. It's like massive.
It is really good.
It's a near sight, I guess. But like, yeah, I thought 400 was gonna be too much, honestly. Like, cause that's like the most expensive util in a game by like a long shot, right? Like, does anything
It's
anything
close.
cost 300 right now?
There are
Um,
things that cost 300.
there-
Like the
I know
wall does for
Brim-
Sage, for example.
That
Oh,
costs
Wall does, yeah.
400. That costs 400.
Wait, Wall's
400?
300.
What?
Wall's 300.
Wait, what?
I
Yeah,
play
Wall's
enough Sage.
300.
Wall's 300. for
No
sure.
way, dude.
Brim Molly
Okay.
used to be 300. They bumped it down to 200 in the changes.
Yeah,
And I don't think
dude.
anything else costs 300.
Really? I could have
I'm
sworn
not
other
sure.
things costed 400.
Does a wolf cost 3? I don't know.
200. Wolf's
Heal?
200 on Sky for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I really don't know if anything's 300.
So like
anything's
400. So the next
is a
highest is
lot.
only Wall. So even then, you see Omens buy it basically every round. Like I've seen Omens literally go light armor just to buy it in some pro
Yeah.
matches. They'll go light armor rifle, buy the blinds. So the 400 is not enough to deter them, pretty much.
Yeah, just make it 800. Thank you.
800. Deagle.
It's like you have one choice. You either get a blind or you get literally anything else. Pistol round.
Here's what you do, right? Make it so you can buy as many smokes as you want and as many flashes as you want. And people just won't buy guns. 10 flashes, actually. 10 smokes, 10 flashes, no gun.
Would narrowing it make it more balanced potentially, and maybe give it back some? You like lower its cost down to 300, narrow it a bit, because then the
Make it
wideness is
less
what makes it so
effective, yeah.
broken.
I think the problem. I agree that it is really busted, but I think it's going to be really, really hard to find that fine line. Because
Yeah.
if it becomes less powerful than it is now, and people are just going to go back to running Breach. Like, it's not going to be viable anymore, I don't think, an actual Flash. Like, I get that it's really good for a lot of those angles, but I think the only reason why it's better than other Flashes in the game, and it's not really the reason why it can do that job is because of how wide it is and how much of an area, and because of how hard it is to dodge if you do it properly. So, I get it. It's just like, if they nerf it, I
Yeah.
think they nerf it into a blue. If they nerf the actual.
I just wish Brim was viable. Come on, Riot, do anything.
They
please.
tried, to be fair. For like the longest time, they
Yeah.
ignored it. and-
They should try harder. I don't know.
Yeah, they gave it the old 1-2 with season 2, but or Act 2 is it called? Episode 2?
I don't know. One of
Episodes,
those things, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's something.
Double the ult.
Okay.
The ult
Here-
length.
the-
like
this
duration.
is an interesting. This is an
Yeah.
interesting question. Like, what would make any other controller more viable than Omen? I think Astra's in a pretty good place already.
Yeah.
Viper is, I think, a little too situational.
Yeah.
So, what changes would you make to Viper? What changes would you make to Omen to compete with? I mean, sorry. What changes would you just make to the controllers to make them compete with Omen more? Like, be more, like, just viability. Blah,
So
blah,
it's worth noting, I actually my most played character is Viper, so I play a lot of Viper. I think the thing about Viper is if you don't know lineups, she's awful. Like
Yeah.
she needs the lineups no matter what. Like I think that's a given. Even more so than like a Sova. I feel like even Sova, the way he's built, like you can just go in with no knowledge and be mediocrely useful. Like you can like kind of just chuck some blind arrows in some like reasonable spots and you'll make it work. Like I think having lineups, especially for shock darts when like retaking a site, is way better than not, but like not fully required.
Yeah.
But
You can kind of
Viper, oh yeah, Viper requires these lineups, especially with the mollies, because the mollies themselves aren't the most useful in like just holding an angle or whatever. Because like you can easily peek on the molly, like they do like 5 damage like a second. It feels
Yeah,
like
it's not-
sometimes like it's pretty small. It's just the big thing is it of course makes you vulnerable, so you get like 2 hit by anything. But so I love that part of her kit, but realistically, the wall is the only thing that really offers like great value because like yeah, she has her like one smoke, but you have to manually place it versus like Omen can chuck it from across the map exactly where he wants it. You have to like perfectly set up this like queue on Viper and you can turn it on and off, which is kind of nice, but like generally it's a lot weaker than most other things in the game. But the wall on split specifically is really useful just because the way the map's lined up, you get a ton of value out of it because both heavens get completely blocked off from either side on attack with it. And you even cut off ramps as well on the B side, I believe, or is it whatever site's on the right when you're attacking. I'm mixing them up right now.
A-site.
It's A site, gotcha. A site on that split, it's really good, but generally, if you're trying to make her good, I think you got to rework her Q first thing. Like I think it's just not going to be viable the way it is compared to like other controllers, and those other controllers are like drastically brought down because like Viper's a good like thing. Like I mean, you'll never see a pro team pretty much run only Viper. You always see an Omen, a
Yeah.
Brim with it because she can't be solo smokes. And the problem is, how do you fit a semi smoke in a team with a smoke already when a lot of teams are running double duelist already? You need a Sentinel for most maps as well. Like very few teams aren't running a Sentinel right now. Some aren't, but yeah. So like that's kind of the problems I see. Where like she never fits on any team ever. Like realistically.
And
does-
how about with
yeah, I don't
Brim?
know.
Like,
mean, we've already talked
can't
about the
even
Brim
begin to
fic.
think about it. Yeah.
Because
Sorry.
Brim at least can be a primary smoke is the thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
you can.
fix him.
And he's
If
another
I
one
really-
where like you can kind of
Yeah.
just pick him up and just do it.
Yeah.
On the iPad, it's done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, if Brim had global smokes, it would actually kind of make him a little bit better. Maybe
Yeah.
global smokes or at least more smokes. Like that's
What
all
if
I
you make
ask
his
for.
smokes bigger?
Um,
Will it really do anything?
I don't know if I know his smokes are smaller than Omen smokes, but I don't know if that would make him more viable overall.
I will say it doesn't. It is really annoying because I played a little bit of Brim back on Icebox, and middle the smoke doesn't like go high enough to cover. Like if a smoke was like a bit bigger, actually, you wouldn't have to double smoke mid and the ramp thingy. What you call boiler?
Boiler, yeah.
Yeah,
Where?
because like on Icebox mid,
Oh yeah.
the smoke doesn't cover. Like you can basically see over the if you put a Brim smoke like to cover underneath tube, it doesn't cover the back at all.
Yeah, it does.
It's like you have to commit 2 smokes just to get mid control,
Yeah.
which is like
Maybe in
really
that
obnoxious.
situation, having a bigger smoke is better.
I'm
I'd
also thinking
say
like a scent
global
A
smokes,
heaven.
yeah.
Like if you're trying to smoke
True.
that off,
Yeah,
having a
you're
bigger
right.
smoke could be helpful. It's just like I'm sure there are a lot of circumstantial things which might make him pivot into a slightly different role. Because if it's just 1-for-1, you put both smokes down, they both do the same thing, one lasts slightly longer, Omen's gonna be better. So either you make Brim better, at which point people just will never play Omen again,
You have to
or
make Brim different.
or you
but
have to make
still
Brim
viable.
different. Exactly. If you make him
Mhm.
like stuff like that, where you're not changing the cost as much, you know maybe you make his stims a bit better, you make the smokes bigger. Maybe then in certain maps people will run him, and that'll be enough to dethrone.
Yeah. I don't want
Yes.
Omen to be completely dethroned. I just want Brim to be more just more viable. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting. What do you think about my stim debuff thing on the enemy?
It's kind of cute actually. I like it a little bit, but
I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure
if
it would
that
make him better
actually-
than Omen
I think
alone.
that's too situational.
No way they actually
It
added.
doesn't
Like that
matter
sounds
enough.
absurd.
Oh, they wouldn't. But also like would that
Doesn't
even
matter.
make him better than Omen?
No,
No.
not that alone. It would have to be a
Other
bunch
stuff.
of
Well-
small changes that add up to something, I think.
It depends on what you mean by debuff. Does it slow them? Does it slow their fire rate?
Nah, fire rate. Just do the opposite of what it does for your team, basically.
What
So,
if it
but
makes
you
them
walk
vulnerable?
slower.
If it made you vulnerable, that would be interesting.
That'd be pretty. That'd be really strong. Like for
And
two of those
I don't
for
mean it
100.
shouldn't be like a
think that's-
toggle. It shouldn't be like a toggle. Like the same stim that buffs you, debuffs them. So you
Oh,
can
wow.
place it as you're about to swing, and they're vulnerable and you're buffed. That sounds absurd. That sounds absolutely.
That's
That
actually
might be
kinda
too powerful for
too
100
powerful.
credits.
Yeah.
For 100 credits,
Probably
it's a little too
200 minimum.
I'm saying, but
then.
I'm saying like that's a way to rebalance it where it seems
Mhm.
interesting, because that makes the stims be used totally differently.
powerful. Yeah.
Like now you, like I'm thinking like for example taking cat on Ascent. A lot of times people will play like close left in that little cubby, right? If you throw
But
one
if you
down
throw a
on
stim
cat
down-
and they're debuffed and you're buffed, like that sounds kind of busted. I don't know. That's a little
mean,
busted.
a change to the stim beacon would be cool. I'd say also global smokes. I'm kind of into that idea because
Global smokes.
basically every other relevant smoke character has that. So if you don't have global smokes, you're kind of less viable here.
What if stims sped up ability as well? Like what if
They do.
if Omen threw well okay,
They
but what if
actu-
Omen threw a smoke from while standing on a stim? It
Yeah,
traveled
like
And
a
it made the
faster.
flying-
smoke faster.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, could
so
you
That'd be
imagine?
cool.
it buffs owl drones actually.
It does?
Does it?
Yes, it makes it faster.
That's
I've never
crazy.
seen that
That's
actually.
so
Wow.
Yeah,
funny.
that's because nobody plays Brim.
Also, like,
Anyway-
why would you ever put a stim beacon down as your owl droning thing? In like, I guess like as you said, that's not true. You'd send it in front of your team sometimes, but
Yeah.
generally, I feel like owl drones aren't really used as like entry more often than
Yeah.
not. They're mostly used for information gathering.
Quantum is
It
saying
definitely depends, but yeah.
movement speed buff or an overheal with the stim beacon, which could be also interesting. It would make the stim a
Overheal.
lot better.
Yeah. Yeah,
by
it would.
balancing-
But
Isn't
I
it
think
already-
the movement speed buff isn't good enough because like the radius is so small for it, you just run out of it immediately.
It lasts after you run out of
A
it.
little
That's true,
bit.
it does, but not
lasts
very
not a
long.
ton.
So overheal would be interesting to do.
I do want to note as well, just to ensure that I wasn't insane, I went to 6 stats on his Liquipedia to see his Sky, how much he plays Sky. He played it all throughout the Winter Championships, First Strike, and JBL Quantum Cup, and then he
Okay.
completely dropped it in Challengers. And I guess I didn't pick up on that, to be honest. So yeah,
Yeah.
since episode 2 he hasn't played it once, which is interesting.
Gotcha.
Very interesting.
I know
I don't really like
Sabrosa
it
was
as
playing
much.
it. Sabrosa was playing it a lot in TSM, but yeah, TSM
Ooh,
ain't
an
doing so hot.
overheal?
Ooh.
If that thing
Quantum's
healed you,
crazy.
Quantum, for 100 like credits, that'd be
Credits?
absurd.
Yeah.
That's like
but-
Sky and that would like Sky would actually never get picked.
What type of overheal are we talking? Like basically like Reyna style where it takes you above 150
Maybe
or to 150.
Maybe 125 is more reasonable for
It's
like
like on pistol
100
round that sounds
credits.
broken as anything.
That sounds
Yeah.
absurd.
You could never balance
two-
that.
Yeah, he's also saying, yeah, you can throw it and then swing as a team, so movement speed can help you extend the buff longer in the firefight. That's interesting. If you're
I just think they need a
Swing
different
fast.
ability there, to be honest. They haven't done that yet. They haven't like
It's not
removed an
bad.
ability yet,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Like,
I mean, I forget that he has a stim beacon sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I just forget he has it.
I think that's something that
So-
needs to happen, to be honest. They really need to like some characters, like I think the two candidates we've already talked about are Viper and Brim. They need to go in and overhaul some things if they want it to be truly viable, in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think those are good suggestions. And unfortunately, I do have to make the suggestion that we get closer to wrapping up because we are at the 1 hour and 18 minute mark.
We are going
We've talked
kinda
a lot about a lot
long.
of stuff. So let's wrap up with this. First off, we were supposed to talk about Masters and we kind of went off for a bit.
I
What
don't
are
know what we
your?
just
Let's
talked
just get
about,
like
so-
closing thoughts on Masters, on how we think it went, what we think we should look from these teams moving forward. Closing thoughts on Astra, what we think has changed with her since last week's or 2 weeks ago when we talked, and she seemed a bit more uncertain. And just any thoughts regarding like Brim or anything like that we've had. So let's start with Masters. Joe, you're the expert.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So the way I like to do this when I watch tournaments or other games, whether it's Smash or League of Legends, I always look at how each team performed relative to how you expected, and it's like a positive or negative gain. So to go through it real fast, I would say massive positives for FaZe, Sentinels, and Gen.G. They all exceeded their own expectations, all three of them, I'd say. I mean, FaZe maybe wanted to win, but like I don't think anyone expected them to win, so this is still a really strong showing from them. I think you're seeing negative, and then pretty much everyone, you're gonna see 100 Thieves, Envy, Immortals, and Xset disappointing tournaments from them all four, especially Xset and Immortals. Some people had Immortals winning this whole tournament, and they go out first, barely taking a map, I think. So like pretty
Yeah, that's
disappointing. I think Luminosity did about as expected, if we're being honest. Like a 5th place finish for them, or I believe they got 5th. Yeah, 5th place is pretty much where everyone expects. So, like, you have basically Luminosity met expectations, Sentinels, Genji, FaZe above, other 4 below. That's how I look at
So
this
is
tournament.
Envy just kind of there then?
Envy, like, was the first seed in the tournament, so I think finishing losing to, I think if they lost to FaZe on their rematch, like in a close match, I'd say about expected. But I think going out to Genji is pretty disappointing for them, all things
Yeah, I'd
considered.
say
They're
so.
number 1 seed, falling like that is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, Sentinels with tens, best
Broken.
team NA, broken. Literally,
He's not signed yet, though.
Dominant org. I know he's not signed yet.
He's not signed yet.
Dub-
Yeah, now he's gonna get signed
Who
for
they get-
double.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, who else is gonna replace him, bro?
oh,
I will
man.
say though,
Oh.
it's interesting coming from CS. Tens was just like the pug star in FPL, right? Like he was good,
Yeah.
but he wasn't like busted. Like if you look at the best players in
Holy
NA,
crap.
it was never gonna be. It didn't really seem like it was gonna be Tens. That was gonna be twists, and they did end up being. Tens was always just like that rising star. Kind of had like Stewie 2K energy. And people liked him, but he wasn't god tier. Interesting to see that he's really found himself in this game. And I guess the question for me then is that just because he's playing with a ton of boomers here, or is that because like a lot of these players like Steel, they're good, but they weren't good enough to hang in high level CS because we have so many of these up and coming players in FPL and what. I'm interested to see if it's just because Tens is one of those few up and coming players that is here instead of a lot of those there being a lot more in CS. Do we think that moving forward there might be more of these younger players out here?
I think like generally you're seeing still a lot of like people who are like actually still good at CS switch. Like I think Ethan was doing really well in CS recently before he swapped, right?
Yeah, that was a pretty
So like, yeah, Ethan's a really good player. Like you saw, I think Shazam was doing pretty well from what I understood before he swapped. Like I don't, everyone in CS hates him apparently. I don't know why.
he's been in like, I mean, I say really well. To be fair, very few NA players did.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
isn't
interesting.
NACS like dying pretty much? I've been told.
Yeah, it's a long story,
Yeah.
but we won't get into that. But basically, it's like, yeah, you're definitely right. There are some big name CS players. I mean, Nitro,
Nitro as well, yeah.
But even then, it's like a lot of these players aren't that up and coming talent that I've been talking about. They're experienced
true.
players. They've been
Yeah,
playing
they're
for a long
boomers.
time.
They're
That's it.
old
I mean,
CS
they
players,
are.
yeah.
They're basically boomers, and that doesn't mean that they're not good. But typically, when you see these fraggers who just go out and drop 1.37 and carry a whole tournament like Tens just did, it is people like Tens. It is these up and comers, and he didn't do that in CS. So I'm interested to see if that's just because there aren't as many of that kind of player in Valorant. Because Ethan, I mean, Ethan gets close. He's pretty young, but he definitely wasn't that like pug star. We've got people like Rops, people like Tens, people like I don't know, even Zywoo at a certain point.
Ethan's only 21. He's actually young. What the heck?
That's not. I mean, Rops when he got signed for Mousesports, the pug star story from FPL and CS. I think
Dude,
he got
10's
signed at
19.
18. Yeah, he got signed at like 18. Yeah, Tens is 19. It's not much, but 2 years in esports means a lot.
It's a decade basically.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
interested to see how that'll go moving. I think
my
that'll be a
God.
big difference. Because right now everybody's just worshiping Tens like he's the incarnation of.
Asuna
Bro,
is
He's basically okay. Here's the thing, Tens, Stewie, ready? Best Asian player to come out of an NA organization called Cloud9. Dude, history repeats itself. All I'm saying is Tens is about to go on a tear for the next few years.
Yeah, okay, bro. Cloud9 won one major and then immediately fell off the face of the earth.
Oh,
Hey, it was in Boston though. It was
Hey,
here.
It was. I watched it live. It was
was-
terrible.
I watched that. It was awkward.
Were you at
I
the
should
arena,
have
Joe?
went. I wish I didn't watch CS.
I
had my
went. I
friends-
was
watched
there.
it
I flew
online,
in from
yeah.
Florida to watch.
Oh,
it.
really?
Not online.
I mean-
I watched it on TV. I watched E-League online.
Oh,
Not
really?
Online. Not online. On TV. Sorry. Like the major
TBS
was
or
on
whatever.
TV.
Yeah.
TBS. Yeah.
TBS.
And-
Yeah.
That
That's
stuff
crazy.
was awesome.
Yeah. I was a FaZe fan though, so a bit disappointed. But anyway, that's another story. So do we have
That
any
was
other
his
thoughts
FaZe
about Masters,
well.
or can we close out with some thoughts about Astra and stuff like that?
That's all my thoughts on Masters, to be honest. It was a
right.
relatively
I don't
boring
have
tournament, if
any
we're
more.
being honest. Just
Yeah.
'cause such
I'm
a
interested
stop.
to see more of those EU teams, and definitely once
Oh, yeah.
once COVID
Korea.
is kind of blowing over, seeing the overlap between
Boston Major in.
I want to see Korea
Boston
so
Major
bad.
At Giannis. Come
Korea
on.
in Valorant is kind of.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah,
They look-
they do.
So
Yeah.
one day we'll talk about that some other time though.
Yeah,
So
I can't wait for those lands. Until then, we'll have to settle with the A and B team at the Red Bull lane. Anyway, we'll try to be as good as the Korean teams. But
I
okay,
believe
so
half our players are Korean, so
dude, there are
that's
so many
funny.
Asians that are Great. It's just me out here representing Brazil. It's
Yeah.
BRB. Yeah, go
I think I
ahead.
have
Brothers rise
oh yeah,
up.
the entire League of Legends team currently is Asian as well.
That's hilarious.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's just.
You guys are
it's a
just good
diff.
at esports. Like, what can I say?
I know,
Dude,
broken.
it's a diff.
It's unfair. It's unjust.
Yeah, unlike a character that is not good at esports is Brimstone. So
Yeah.
what do we do about him and the rest of them? Do we have any other closing thoughts on Astra? Do we think that she's gonna just do what Brimstone couldn't, surpass Omen, I don't think she's gonna replace any like the Flash characters. Stun just doesn't work. But I could totally see her being like a
I
half
think she's
controller,
mostly gonna
half
be
sentinel.
controller.
I
Yeah.
think she'll split time with Omen finally.
I think
I
so
think-
too.
Yeah, I think Omen's gonna be a little less utilized for some teams who play a little more strategically, a little slower perhaps.
I think it's super
would think so.
unlikely that Astra like dominates over Omen, like takes like basically Omen over Brim styles, where it takes like the entire percentage. I think like you're gonna see maybe like a 60-40 split where 60% are gonna start playing Astra as she gets developed, still 40% Omen. Because I think
so.
generally Astra's also really cheap, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
it costs no
Way
her
cheaper
util
than
is
Omen.
basically free almost. Because like you get 2 of it around, and you don't have to like buy the individual util, which is like a new concept as well. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal.
For sure. Sure. I think with that, we're kind of ready to wrap up. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We started with the 2.05 patch notes, which are honestly pretty uninteresting, but you know, still nice to see those quality of life improvements. We talked about, I mean, at some point, Masters, I don't know, the whole hour in there is a bit of a blur at this point. We talked about a lot of
yeah.
stuff, the A and the B teams, how we've been performing, what we think about the current state of Valorant, and then we ended it off talking about Masters, talking about the tourneys that we're going to be going up into in the next few, I guess, weeks, right? April 10th, you said?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
18th? Great.
Awesome.
That's so soon. So definitely tune in for those. And once we have more information on that other hidden secret tournament that we talked about, we'll mention that as well. Watch the B team on CEA if they made playoffs. I don't know if they did. We'll get news on that at some point. And watch the B team. Honestly, probably don't. I don't think we'll get a stream. But if we do stream, watch the A team in the NACCS playoffs. And I think that's mostly it from us. Do you guys have any other closing thoughts or anything?
Will I not let you guys POV stream as a closing thought, or
We
it
can
has to be a
with
broad-
stream delay. I don't know if we'll get an official stream from actually NACCS because they streaming the best game. 7th.
Honestly,
it can only barely get worse than
Yeah.
that.
POV streams are sometimes more fun than the real deals. If you guys do a POV stream, I'll
Yeah, if
watch
you-
it minimum.
don't
For sure.
watch the B team POV streams.
Dude,
It's
Dari
just-
streams are so good.
Dari streams are
Not
entertaining.
officially endorsed by the BU Gaming Club or the e-board. I cannot take any responsibility for what is said on those streams. we
Oh
didn't say
no.
that. They do tilt occasionally, but that's okay.
Okay.
Occasionally, more like the entire game. So,
For
hey,
sure.
dude,
For sure.
I implemented a no tilt policy and we won. So it's not a
That's fine.
coincidence. Can't be.
No tilt.
Much like the viewers have definitely won by being here for this episode of Showstopper, which I will go ahead and wrap up now so I don't have to make any more cringy transitions. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Joe, for being a special guest.
Thank you. I had so much fun. Thanks for having me.
For sure. It's been great, Philip, as always, for being here,
Yeah,
and
of
the
course.
viewers for checking us out. I have been Gabriel Monka, your host. This is BU Gaming Club's Collegiate Valorant Podcast. Have a good night.
And we're down to just 2 players with a bomb down.
Falsely finding 3, 4. Will we see the ace from Falsey this round?